If you are too dependable and too predictable, people will not respect you. You decrease your value. Robert Greene spoke on this, and I read it in his book many, many years ago. But many years ago, I couldn't really comprehend it until I realized that I was decreasing my power of always being predictable, dependable, and always saying yes. And people will no longer see your value. People will no longer see you as your own individual of having your own energy, your own life, your own responsibilities, because you are always saving them. You are always helping them. Human beings need boundaries. They need to hear no. They need restrictions. You can't always do things because somebody asks you to, and that falls in a line of people pleasing. You know, I saw this case many years ago of this man who like chopped his parents up and cooked them in the oven. It was crazy. It was disgusting. And the reason why he did that was because he was almost 30 and his mother was retired and she was working a part-time job to support his old ass. And he got mad because he had to move out. So he decided to kill his parents. All of that would have been avoided if his parents had boundaries and told him no years ago. And when you have leadership skills or you have that masculine energy, you have to lock down on protecting your energy, your skills, your mind, your sanity, because people will try to use you. And when you're in, you know, family relationships, lover relationships, friendships, people would not see you as your own person. They're going to see you as the laborer. Oh, that is my ATM. That is my maid. That is my therapist. They no longer see you as their family member, their lover, or their friend. And what's crazy is that these people who are inadequate or lazy, they're training you, the person that is dependable. They've been training you from the beginning of your relationship with them to get you to do these things that they don't want to do or that they can't do. And it starts off really small, and I think that's the reason why people who are dependable or predictable, they don't see it. And it started for me in my friendships, and I think it's because I came from a narcissistic household where I was the golden child growing up, and then I became the black sheep later on. But they always were able to depend on me to do everything. So when I got older and I started getting into these romantic relationships and friendships, not realizing that people saw me as the slave and not their woman or not their friend or not their family member. And it starts off very small and you overlook these things. For example, I had a friend that every time we were hanging out, she would say, hey, I don't have cash. Can I get some cash? And I'll pay you back at the end of the night. And it'll be like, I don't have any cash in my wallet anymore. And I would have to say, hey, like, hello, can you please like give me my cash that you use during the day? So eventually, whenever I met up with her, I stopped bringing cash out, or I pretended that I didn't have any cash on me. A couple of friends also, they would carry tiny purses. And then, you know, by the end of the night, all their shit is in my big bag. I always carry big purses. So now when I go out with those particular friends, I will carry a small bag, or I would blank out and just say, hey, no, you can't put your shit in my bag. You know, it starts off with like little things like that. Saying, hey, let's hang out, and then telling you that you should go find the restaurant or the event that y'all are supposed to be going to. Using you as a Google. Hey, did you hear about XYZ? Can you please look that up? Huh? I even have people like in my comments like, hey, you talked about XYZ in your video. Can you go look for that? And I'm like, why would I go look for something that you want? No, just don't do it. And these are small ways how people train you. And before you know it, you're doing major labor in the friendship and relationship. And through the years, I had to even end friendships because of this, because my value, I decreased my own value by always saying yes. You know, there was a friend, I've told this story before, that didn't want me in her wedding, but wanted me to wear the same color as her bridesmaids. And she said assist her throughout her wedding. So be like a color coordinated slave, basically. And I said, no, that is your bridesmaid's duty to help you during your wedding, not friends of honor, she said. And I wasn't going to be, you know, a bridesmaid or maid of honor. She wanted me to be a friend of honor. And when I told her no, she had a temper tantrum and said, why don't you want to help me at my wedding? I said, why do I have to? And it was my fault because I always helped her with everything, her children, you know, things going on with her mom and her life and all these different things, that she didn't even see me as a friend who she wanted at her wedding to enjoy her wedding. She wanted me at her wedding as a laborer, as a slave, basically. And, you know, I had another friend that one day this clicked in my head. She said, oh, you know, people are mad that I always hang out with you. But I told them, I always hang out with you because you always say yes. And I was like, whoa, I'm a yes girl. I say yes to everything. I say yes to every invite. And it's very sad that this is how human nature is. You cannot say yes. You cannot go to every party. You cannot go to every event. You cannot answer every phone call and every text, because you decrease your value and you end up being the laborer, the yes man, the yes girl. And those who are never there, who they can never depend on, they value them, they chase them, they trying to figure out how come they won't let me in and how come they not meeting up with me. They give those people the value, and the person like yourself who's dependable and who is there, they see you as chopped fucking liver, okay? So, in order to get that respect, you have got to stop saying yes all the time. Now, if you're a people pleaser or you seek validation by helping people, this message isn't for you. But that's how I increased my value. I am not the dependable one, and I'm not the predictable one anymore.